Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi Shrali Sadri Vayassirli Amri Wal Luqatam min Lisani Yafqahu Qawli Rabbi Zidni Ilma. Okay, now children, how is everyone? Hope that everyone is well, enjoying your learning. Yes, studying. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, today we are going to work on one of the past papers, that is Computer Science, Paper 1, Computer Systems, October-November 2023, Paper 1-3. The paper is of 1 hour 45 minutes duration. You have to answer on the question paper. No additional materials are needed. You have to answer all the questions by using a black or a dark blue pen. You may use an HB pencil for any diagrams or graphs if there are any. Write your name, center number, and candidate number in the given boxes. You have to write your answer in the given space. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid at all, and do not write on any barcodes. Calculator must not be used in the paper, so please do not carry the calculator at all on the examination day. The paper is of 75 marks. The number of marks for each question or each part of the question are given in brackets at the end. There's no mark which is awarded for writing the brand name of software packages or hardware, so please be cautious. So because you don't score any mark at all for that. Now moving on to the first question. A mobile telephone company has built-in input and output devices. Give 2 examples of an input device that would be built into a mobile phone, into a mobile telephone. Now you can see there are 2 marks for such a simple thing. You can answer any one. Just think of the input devices. Touch screen, microphone, keyboard, keypad, digital camera, sensors. Now, sensor, if you see any sensor that you think is a feasible one to be used, you have to give the example of that sensor also that is being used. Then similarly, biometric device and a button. So these were the answers that were expected from the students by mentioning the right input device. Please be cautious. It's dealing with the mobile phone. So you are not going to mention every single thing that comes to your mind regarding the telephone. You have to mention only the input devices that are used with your mobile telephone. Okay. Give one example of an output device that could be built into a mobile phone. Now see which one is built in. You can see anyone from example given. A screen is there, speakers are there, then LED or the light is there, or actuator or motor is there. So these were the right answers that were expected from the students. And if you have written it accurately, you were able to score 1 out of 1. Easy? Okay. Part C. The data storage in the mobile phone can be measured using different units of measurement. State how many bits are equal to a byte. So it's so simple, 8 bits. State how many kibibytes are equal a megabyte. So again, you know very well that it's 1024. So just remember the values and you are able to score so easily. Part D. The mobile telephone has an operating system. Describe the purpose of the operating system. So just pay attention to the main details for answering a 3-mark question. It means that they want you to write down 3 proper purposes. It performs a basic function of a computer. It manages the hardware. It provides a platform to run software. It provides a user interface. It performs tasks such as an example of a function that you can see. It performs tasks like multitasking or anything that comes to your mind that is dealing with is going to give you 3 out of 3. So whatever you have learned in the operating system topic, you can answer it and you are able to score very easily. Easy? Any questions? Okay, that's wonderful. Question number 2. Humans use a denary number system and computers use a binary number system. Explain what is meant by a binary number system. So it's a 2-mark question. So simple. It has a base of 2 and it only uses 2 values which are 0 or 1. You have written these points and you are able to score 2 out of 2 so easily. Now, convert the denary numbers 14, 59 and 234 to binary. And you are given a working space means that you have to use the working space. So for your understanding, what I have done is I've written the binary values for 14, like for the for you to actually use it appropriately, what we have done is I've written the values here, working space 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Then just turn on all those bits that form 14. Similarly, just turn on all those bits which combined will give you 59. Similarly, just turn on all those bits which combined will give you 234. Okay, just remember this is what you need to use the working space, please. Although I know that you know it, but still, working space is needed to be used by the students so that the examiners know that you know how to answer, okay? So 14 is simple. You simply, actually, 8 plus 4 plus 2 is 14. So simple. Similarly, as far as 59 is concerned, you can see I have turned on 32 and 16 and 8 and then 2 and 1. And these two bits together are going to form 59. Similarly, you can see 234 is 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 8 plus 2. So you can mention it like by, you can even show the calculations also. You can do it this way also. But please do not forget to use the working space because that will give the examiner an understanding that you know how to do it, how to do the task. Okay, understood? Any questions regarding this topic? Okay, that's wonderful. If you have any, then you can watch the video regarding the conversion from denary to binary and binary to denary also, okay? Now convert the denary numbers 9, 26, and 65 to hexadecimal. Now this is again the use of working space is given to you. So again, remember, you are given a denary number and you have to convert to hexadecimal. One method is you simply convert the denary number. Okay, now there are two methods of doing it. One method is you divide and you write down, you divide by 16 every single value, and then you get the answer. And the same way. And another one is also an option that you convert the denary number to its equivalent binary value, and then you will make a combination of 4 bits or enable each, and then you will find out the answer. So both ways are okay. Whichever you find okay, you can work with that. Now, what I have utilized is just the second method where you are converting, because this one is easier. That's why it is done in this manner that you are going to convert the denary to its equivalent binary. Like 9 is going to be from the LSB 1001 and all other are zeros. Then you can see for yourself what I have done is I've written 1248, 1248, and then you can simply write down that 9. And by the way, like very correctly told Ali, thank you very much, that till 9 it is the same. So 0 in denary is equal to 0 in hexadecimal, 0 in denary, 1 in denary is equal to 1 in hexadecimal. So till 9, hexadecimal values and your denary values are the same. Hexadecimal and denary is same, and then the change comes from the digit 10. So 10 in denary is equal to A. I think this is what we know. Okay. Now, similarly, 26. First of all, we have found the binary for 26 by turning on 16 and 8, and then 2. That makes 16 and 8 is going to be 24, and then plus 2 is 26. And then what we did later is we've converted it into 1, 2, 4, 8 combination, 1, 2, 4, 8 combinations, and then we have found that value for 26 is basically 1A. Same goes for 65. We have turned on the bit 64 and 1, and then we have made a combination of 4 bits each, and then we got the value. The answer is 4, 1. Easy? Any questions? Any problem? Okay, that's wonderful. Part D. Convert the positive denary number 123 to 8-bit binary using 2's complement. Now, see, they have given you the hint. Convert the positive number, positive denary number 123 to its equivalent 8-bit binary using 2's complement. So now here you can see 1 mark is for suitable working method, for example, conversion to binary. 1 mark is for the correct answer. Okay, now very rightly quoted that for the positive denary numbers, the 2's complement value is the same. There is no change in the answer, and that is where you can see for yourself that the answer is going to be the same as you do it with the normal value. Like, so you have turned on 64 and 32 and 16 and 8 and 2 and 1. And these bits turned on will give you the value of 123. And what else you can see for yourself, by the way, in two's complement, the only change is, yes, can we recall what is the change in two's complement? If it's a positive Denoy number. That's wonderful, Annie. The capacity changes that whenever we talk about the positive values to be stored as two's complement, the only change is the MSB is now going to hold a 0 to indicate it's a positive number, and the rest of the 7 bits are for storing the data. It means the maximum value that can be stored, the maximum positive value stored using two's complement is your 127 plus 127. That's very, very good, Ahmed. Wonderful. Now, I hope that this is all clear to all of us and we can easily score 2 out of 2. But be cautious, it's positive number. And in positive number, we do not do this flipping and adding one at all. It's the same. Please do not get confused. And in this manner, you will be able to score so easily. Now, add addition. Add the binary values 00, 11, 00, 11, and 00, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ones are here, and then 3 zeros are there. And you are supposed to perform the working, and you have to show your working also. So you can see there's actually the division is in such a manner. 1 mark is for each correct nibble, maximum 2, and 1 mark is for correct working. For example, the correct carrying that you have done. And now starting from that, just simply you have written the proper values, proper values. You've written them one over the other in the right way. It means that you are definitely able to score some marks. And then you will start your addition process. 1 plus 0 is a 1, 1 plus 0 is a 1, 0 plus 0 is a 0, 0 plus 1 is a 1, 1 plus 1 is 0 with a carry of 1. So now we have 3 ones. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 means 1 with a carry of 1. By the way, 3 ones are here. Yes, exactly. So it means that 1 with a carry of 1, then 1 plus 1 is 0 with a carry of 1, and then 1 is plus 0 is a 1. So in this manner, you can get your answer, and 3 out of 3 are so simple to gain. Question number 3. A computer has a central processing unit, CPU. Circle 3 components that are built into the CPU. Now let's see what are they. Accumulator or ACC, control unit or CU, graphics card, hard disk drive, motherboard, program counter. So out of these, which one is the most correct option? Accumulator, definitely this is present. Similarly, control unit and program counter. See, graphics card, it's not a part of CPU. Hard disk drive is not a part of CPU. Motherboard is not a part of CPU. So the motherboard, some of you may have thought about it. And similarly, random access memory and read-only memory are definitely not a part of CPU. So these are the only 3 components that are built in, that are a part of CPU, and then you will score so easily. Question number 3B. The CPU has cache. Explain the purpose of the cache. Now, this is what you know. It's a type of storage. It stores frequently used data and instructions. It is there to speed up the access process as it is faster than your RAM. Okay, now some of you may be aware of the L1, L2, and L3 cache. So if anyone has written about that, he will definitely be able to score also. But mainly, it's a if you actually know that it's a type of storage, it's there to store frequently used, the one that you need quite frequently. So the frequently used data, the frequently used instructions are present in cache so that the speed of processing is going to be improved. The computer, the processor is able to work faster if the data is stored in cache, because whatever is stored in cache is accessed a little faster. Because the access rate is faster from cache as compared to RAM. Although RAM is also faster, but not as quick as it's in your cache. Okay. The CPU is a component that regulates the number of fetch, decode, execute cycles the CPU can perform in a second. State the name of this component. It's clock. Okay. The CPU has a component that carries out all calculations and logical operations. Again, so simple. The name, you have to write down the name, and it's arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit, or if someone has written ALU, they both will score a mark because they have mentioned it accurately. Isn't it easy? Yes? Now moving on to the next one. An employee uses a web browser on their computer. Describe the main purpose of a web browser. See, it's going to be a 2-mark question. It's there to display the web pages by using HTML. Definitely for 1 mark, you are going to get the answer. It's a web browser, is software, is a program, and you are asked to write down the purpose of the web browser. So it's going to be there to display the web pages and using definitely the HTML, like the web pages are displayed using HTML. So that is going to give you 2 out of 2. The employee wants his payment details to automatically be filled in when he buys products using the internet. Identify the function of a web browser that could be used for this purpose. So now you can refer to your web browser topic, and you can see that which function of a web browser is able to perform the activity of automatically filling in whenever he is buying any product. So definitely that's because of the cookies. It's because cookies hold the personal information. By the way, are cookies dangerous? Yes, can we recall, are cookies dangerous? No, that's wonderful, Ali. They are not dangerous as the viruses are, but still they are only there to store the user preferences or to store the user details. So here you can see the details are being stored and they are going to be identified. The employee wants to be able to quickly access the website that he regularly uses. Identify the function of the web browser that could be used for the purpose. Now you can use a bookmark or you can use the favorites. This is done through a bookmark or through the favorites. The web browser uses the secure sockets layer or SSL protocol to transmit personal data securely over the internet. State how the SSL protocol secures the data for transmission. It's a 1-mark question. So it's performing it through encryption or it's performing it through digital certificates. So if you have written any of these answers, you will be able to score 1 out of 1. If you say encryption, that's correct. If you say digital certificate, that's also correct. So I hope that we remember the SSL secure sockets layer that is there, the protocol that is there to secure your data, shown through it correctly told. Thank you very much, Ali, that you are mentioning the SSL protocol features, the padlock, or you can say the HTTPS, that is indicating that your SSL is applicable. Any questions till now? Okay, question number 5. Errors can occur when data is transmitted. Give one reason an error may occur when data is transmitted. So it can be interference. The data can have problems because of interference or because of crosstalk. Okay, crosstalking because of mingling of the signals or interference from the outside that is going to result in data getting some error. Some error detection methods use a calculated value to check for errors. Tick one box to show which error detection method does not use a calculated value. Does not use a calculated value. Check digit, checksum, echo check, and parity. Now just recall, check digit, definitely that needs calculation. So it is completely out of question. Checksum also we have learned it's performing some sort of calculations. Although we have not done those calculations, but algorithms are there which are to perform calculations or to find out checksum. Parity again, we just count the number of ones or zeros. So that is also some sort of calculations are involved. Only echo check is just a mean through which data is sent back. Once again, the same data is echoed back, and that is why it is the only correct option. So that is why you will simply tick echo check because this is the only method that does not use a calculated value. Clear? Any questions? Okay. An ARQ, automatic repeat request, can be used to make sure the data is received free of errors. It can use a positive or negative acknowledgement method to do this. Explain how an IRQ operates using a positive acknowledgement method. Now see, just try to understand the question. First, they talk about ARQ. I hope that we all know acknowledgement and timeout. Then they talked about the acknowledgement can be positive or negative. And then they are asking for a 5-mark question. Explain how an ARQ is going to operate using a positive acknowledgement. So if you have actually understood the whole process, you've identified that you need to answer only for positive acknowledgement, you will definitely be able to score, isn't it? Now, let's see what are the points that they want the students to answer. Timer is started when when a sending device transmits a data packet to the receiver. Definitely, you need to go for a timer. Receiving device checks the data packet for errors. Once the receiving device knows the packet is error-free, it sends an acknowledgement back to the sending device, and the next packet is sent. If the sending device does not receive an acknowledgement before the timer ends, a timeout occurs, the data packet is resent until acknowledgement is received or until maximum number of attempts are reached. So just recall what you have learned, the working of the ARQ, that first of all, the data is sent, acknowledgement is received, and definitely before the acknowledgement is received, the receiving device will recalculate the whole process, will find out that is it error-free or not. If it has no error, then a positive acknowledgement will be sent. And definitely the sending device is going to wait for a certain time period that is called your timeout, because you need to just wait for a certain time period. And if the time has elapsed and still the acknowledgement is not received, then there are two situations. Either the data is resent and we just wait for a certain number of attempts. I mean, we don't keep on sending the data. There's still a number of attempts that are needed to be waited for. So in this manner, if you have maintained the sequence, you've written the explanation properly, you will definitely be able to score for a 5 out of 5. Easy? Okay. Question number 6. A company uses cloud storage to store its data. Tick one box to show which is not a characteristic of cloud storage. Data is accessed through a network. Definitely that is wrong. Data is stored locally. Data is stored remotely. Physical servers are used to store the data. So since you know, by the way, data is accessed through a network, that is one of the features of your cloud storage. Data stored locally is not, definitely locally means it's not stored on my PC. So what's the concept of storing it on cloud then? So it means that that is not a correct option. That is what you will tick. And definitely in cloud means data stored remotely. And definitely when you're talking about the data storage remotely, then servers are being used and are physically storing the data. So that is why this is not also a like this is definitely a characteristic of cloud storage. So out of these A, B, C, D, B is the only correct is the only option that is not a characteristic. So you will tick this one and you will be able to score. Just be cautious about the question. Be very clear. It says not a characteristic. So if you have not spent time in understanding the question, you will not be able to score. Please try to understand and only then you will be able to score, okay? Now, question number 6B part. Explain two advantages for the owners of the company of storing its data in cloud storage. Now, there are two points that you need to write, and it's a 4-mark question. It means that they want you to write down the proper explanation. For example, a few examples are mentioned here. The data can be accessed from any location because the employees can work from anywhere within a connection. Since they are asking about the explain two advantages for the owners of the company, so you have to take into account this thing that they are expecting the students to answer with respect to the owners of the company. So then the data can be accessed from any location, and because the employees get access from anywhere in the world, they can access their location from anywhere in the world, wherever they are. The hardware is owned, maintained by a third party, meaning that the company is not responsible for maintaining or keeping the security of the for maintaining the security of the hardware also. So hardware is owned and maintained by a third party will be 1 point, and the reason mentioned that you as company owner is going to be relieved from the cost and the you can say and all the security that is incurred in maintaining all the data also. Now, the third point, when the third point mentioned here, which can be taken by the student is, can increase the storage needed easily without needing to buy new hardware. I mean, you don't have to buy the new hardware. You only have to pay for a certain amount, and amount that is reserved for you to be used as storage will be definitely increased. Do not need to house the hardware needed, and in this manner, the cost can be saved on the space that is needed to keep the hardware. Cloud systems will back up the data, meaning the company does not need to do this at all. When there's nothing to be done on the company's part, that they need to go for the backing of the data. The data will be handled. This all will be handled by the third party, which you are using as a cloud storage for the cloud storage. Is it clear? So in this manner, you can easily score 4 out of 4. Part C. Explain one disadvantage to employees of the company storing data in the cloud. To the employees. Now, for two examples, internet connection is needed, which means the data needs to be stable. And if this is not available, unstable data is there, you cannot access the data at all. If the connection is unstable, then definitely you cannot access the data at all. Employees could be pressured to work outside of hours. I mean, and you are at home, you can get some work and you are asked to do the work because you have all the work stored on the cloud. I mean, you cannot say this, I can't do the work. I'm an employee. I know that all my data is stored on cloud. I have to work. They just say that the deadline is there, do it. I have to do it because the data is on cloud, as they can access the data from any location. I mean, now this is not what I can say that I can't do the work. Okay? So do you have to explain any one out of these disadvantage? Because you as an employee have to just bear the brunt of storing the data on the cloud also. Any questions till now? Okay, now move on to question number 7. A photographer takes an image with a digital camera. The photographer sets the resolution and color depth for the image. State what is meant by the image resolution. See, it's a 1 mark question. The dimensions of an image or the number of pixels wide by number of pixels high. So a student can answer any and he will be able to score 1 out of 1 because he has mentioned the definition of image resolution accurately with the dimensions of an image or the number of pixels horizontally or vertically, the number of pixels wide by the number of pixels high, then you are going able to score. State what is meant by the image color depth. Color depth means the number used to represent each color, or the number of bits that are needed to represent a color. So again, you can easily score 1 out of 1. Give one benefit of increasing the color depth. What is the answer? What is the best answer for that? Yes, why do we need to consider to work with increasing the color depth? Definitely, a greater range of colors can be used. Image will be closer to the actual. The image will have more detail. You can see the image more clearly. The image will be sharper. So any one benefit written properly will definitely give you 1 out of 1. Easy. The photographer compresses the image using a method that permanently reduces the color depth and resolution of the image. Now, permanently reduces. Identify which compression method the photographer uses. Definitely the compression that is going to reduce the material permanently is lossy compression. Give one benefit for compressing the image is to, one benefit for compressing the image is to reduce the storage space it uses. Give 2 other benefits of compressing the image. So what are the 2 benefits? What are the other 2 benefits? Now be very cautious. One benefit mentioned right now is reduction in storage capacity that is being needed. So if a student did not pay attention to the question and just mentioned the first benefit because he has studied that one of the benefits is there is reduced storage space, then he will score a 0 for that part. So please be very cautious. Quicker to transmit or upload or download the data. Not as much bandwidth is needed to transmit the files. To fit in limitation of file size on email, for example, email, because you need to, you know that whenever we are sending the data through emails, there's a limit to the storage that it can be, that can consume. Then this is also one of the benefits that if you talk about the limitation that is given to your file sizes, especially when you are sending an email, then that will be possible also if you have compressed the file. See, so simple. Okay, now question number 8. Draw an annotated diagram to represent the role of a router. Now, this is really very important. You have been learning router. You know how the important router in in our transmission, in our internet transmission. So the diagram that you are going to draw, it should demonstrate the following points. The router examining the packet, definitely for looking for the packet header, that is going to be the IP address of the destination. And then the next thing is the packet being sent towards its correct destination by the fastest route. I mean, decide that which route it should take, and router is shown connecting devices or the networks, and router is shown assigning an IP address to the device. So just an example is discussed here. Let's see. Your answers may be a little bit different, but just an example. The first one is a router with a packet and IP address. Then router examining the packets to look for the header that has the IP address of the destination. Then that packet is sent to the correct destination using the fastest route, and then is the destination device. So if you have mentioned every single detail properly, you have mentioned everything, single thing properly, then definitely you are able to score marks easily, isn't it? 4 marks. Difficult or easy? Okay, that's wonderful. A company has secondary storage. The table contains statements about secondary storage. Complete the table by writing the type of secondary storage that applies to each statement. Some type of secondary storage may apply to more than one statement. Now, for this, you need to first of all recall the secondary storage devices that you have studied, not the primary at all. Right now, they are not concentrating on primary. So please, I suggest you that you write on one side all the secondary storage that you know, and then from there you can start answering. Okay, I mean, just a piece of advice that whenever such questions come, first of all, always underline. Here, the word is secondary storage. So you underline the word secondary so that you remember that this is what is your major concern. And then you start doing the rest of the part. Data stored using PITs and LANs. Definitely it's optical. Nothing else but optical. Data stored using control gates and floating gates. That is solid state SSDs. Data stored using electromagnets. Electromagnets, it's magnetic. Just a hint. Magnetic storage, optical storage, solid state storage. These are the three that we have talked about, we have learned. So out of these, which definition fits which point? Data stored using electromagnets, so that is magnetic. The data stored using a laser. So there's nothing except optical. And data is stored on a platter that is divided into tracks and sectors. Platters, tracks, and sectors. The three words definitely indicates the magnetic storage. Okay, understood? That's wonderful. Be very cautious. If you have learned the technique of answering, you would definitely score full marks without any problem at all. And you'll be able to finish the work before time so that you get ample time for revision of your paper also. Explain two differences between primary storage and secondary storage. Now explain. It's a 4-mark question because they want you to write down the proper explanation. All the differences are two, but you have to write down the proper explanation. Primary storage is directly accessible by the CPU, while secondary storage is not accessed directly by the CPU. That is going to be the 1 point that you are going to gain. Be very clear about it. It's accessed directly by the CPU, and the second one is not accessed directly by the CPU. Primary storage stores the data that is currently in use for booting system, whereas secondary storage storing the data, user files, user data, operating system, application software, all these things are stored on secondary storage. Primary storage normally has a small capacity, normally, whereas secondary storage normally has a larger capacity. Some parts of primary storage are volatile, and why some parts? Be very cautious. Some parts because, by the way, what are the primary storage devices? Can you recall quickly? Wonderful, Ali. It's RAM and ROM. So in this, out of these RAM and ROM, which one is volatile and which one isn't volatile? Yes, definitely. RAM is volatile while ROM is non-volatile. So that is why, although they both are in primary storage, considered to be the part of primary storage, but in this, RAM is volatile while ROM is non-volatile. That is why Some parts of primary storage are volatile, whereas secondary storage is not volatile. The data is always there. That is why we use secondary storage. Secondary storage is permanent. The data there is not deleted on its own. It still remains even when we switched off the computer. Okay, some part of primary storage, some part of primary storage, the data cannot be changed, whereas the data in secondary storage can be changed. By the way, where in the primary storage the data cannot be changed, cannot be altered, it remains fixed. Yes, that's wonderful. The ROM's data is not deleted. It is fixed because it is written by the manufacturer, because it stores the debugging instructions, and normally the instructions there are permanent. They are not changed. Primary storage has faster access speed as compared to the secondary access. So that is why the answer will be primary storage has faster access speeds to data, whereas secondary storage has slower access speed to data. In this manner, please be very cautious about the way of answering. You know the answer, I know very well. You write down the answer properly. That is the key to gaining the full marks. Okay, so you have to mention this way. First of all, talk about the primary storage, whereas the secondary storage, primary storage, whereas the secondary storage, primary storage, whereas the secondary storage. In this manner, you will be able to score 4 out of 4. Got it? Okay, now a car repair garage uses an expert system. Complete the description of the operation of the expert system. Use the terms from the list. Some of the terms in the list will not be used. Now, the terms are inference engine, interface, knowledge base, machine learning, mechanical engine, output device, question base, rule base. So out of these, which ones do you think are completely out of question? When you don't think that they are a part, they should be a part. Okay, now that's wonderful. Question base. There's no word question base that we have learned with respect to expert system. So let's see what the blanks were and how have we filled in. An expert system has a dash that contains a list of facts. So out of these, which one is the right option? An expert system has a knowledge base that contains a list of facts. The dash applies the dash to the dash to reach a diagnosis for the repair of the car. So now you can recall the inference engine, knowledge base, inference engine, and interface. These are the 3 components. So inference engine applies the rule base to the knowledge base to reach a diagnosis, and the student can mention the inference engine applies the knowledge base to the rule base to reach a diagnosis. They both have answered accurately because either you fill in the second blank of the sentence with rule base and the third blank with knowledge base, and vice versa. You can mention the second blank as knowledge base and the third blank as rule base. These both are correct options. And to reach a diagnosis for the repair of the car, the user provides data to the system using an interface. So definitely we are using an interface to provide the system. So just be cautious. If such questions come in the paper, read and then just note down the points, which one do you think are the appropriate ones. And once you are okay with your answer, only then write down the answer later. Do not start attempting the questions immediately. Just take your time, read, comprehend, and then attempt. Do not go in haste. Do not do the work in haste. Okay? Understood? Any questions? So in this manner, you can easily score 5 out of 5. Part B. Expert system has machine learning capabilities. Describe what is meant by machine learning capabilities. Now, this is describing. So for a 4-mark question, any four from the following. It's a form of AI, artificial intelligence, means it can adapt or change its own processes. It can edit its own algorithms. It can edit its own data. It can be trained to this because it can be supervised or unsupervised also. It can learn with or without the human interaction. It is able to analyze patterns and stores successful or unsuccessful results to influence the future decisions. And here supervised means a user tells the system the input and output. And on the contrary, unsupervised means that the system is given the input and needs to work out the algorithm automatically. So just recall the machine learning capabilities points and you can frame your answer by writing down 4 valid points and 4 marks are yours then. Any questions? Anything that is unclear? Okay, that's wonderful. Jazakallah khairan kasira for being a part of the learning journey. I hope that you have understood. If you have any query, please write down your comments in the comment section. Subscribe the channel, share with your friends and family so they all are going to benefit from their learning. Allah Hafiz. Take very good care of yourselves and your family.